Welcome to the Hood. I'm Jack, your Hood sommelier. Welcome to a brand new episode. We today are going to talk about how to taste your whiskey. Most people have multitude of ways that they try the whiskey, but we're gonna round them down to 5 ways. I know some are frowned upon because just like in anything people like, some people are with tradition and some people are more into a progressive way of trying the whiskey. So let's get to it. There is only 2 type of whiskeys that you have when it comes to how the whiskey is made. You can have a high proof whiskey, which usually is above 100 proof, and you have low proof whiskey, which obviously are under. When usually the average whiskey drinker is trying anything below 100 proof, they like the whiskey the first way we about to try it. They like the whiskey neat. So what's neat is simply having your glass and trying your whiskey without any addition to it. So in this case, I'm gonna try my whiskey very neat. So it's gonna be straightforward, nothing else added. I'm going to it and try my whiskey neat. There's nothing added to it, straight from the bottle. Delicious. When it comes to the second way of trying your whiskey, I'll be honest, is the most popular way that people try the whiskey, on ice. But here at the Hood Sommelier, I get to teach you small things that you need to know. What type of ice you don't want to use when you want to put ice in your whiskey. Don't use small ice. This little tiny small ice, you don't want to use that. My advice to you is to use a big ice, big round ice. And we are going to try it right now. Big round ice that you have. And as you use a big round ice, there's actually a science behind it. Because the ice is compact and is rounded and very compact, when you pour your whiskey down it takes a long time to melt, which does water down your whiskey and affect the taste of your whiskey. So now that I have my ice, all I need to know is to go in with my whiskey and pour it on ice. And as you can see, no matter how much I pour or less I pour, you can see that my whiskey will remain right there on ice. So my whiskey would take a very long time to melt, and I can enjoy it on ice. And if I let this glass sit here for hours, it probably stay here for about an hour or 2, and I can still enjoy my whiskey, taste it the way I want to without having anything. So my advice to you is always have a big ball of ice. You can find those ball of ice simply here on Amazon. You can find your ice, and all you need to do is enjoy your whiskey simply on ice. When it comes to tasting whiskey, some people are just traditionalists. They don't want anything in their whiskey. They want it neat the first way we've tried it. But sometime when you're trying high proof whiskey like this one here, what happens is that the molecule in the whiskey are kind of stuck in it. So all you get is the bite, but you don't get the flavor. So what you need to do is to add a little bit of water into your whiskey, and next thing you know, it opens up the whiskey and give it more flavor. So the third way to try your whiskey is with water. Let me show you. You don't need a lot, and there is actually a science behind this. Your whiskey, anything that is high proof, is over 100 degrees or 100 proof. When you have your whiskey, all you get is just the heat. It just bites too much. What I do usually is I will take some water, and I will just take a little bit of water and drip it into my whiskey. A little bit of water, drip it. And what it does simply is it opens up the whiskey. If you have to understand, when whiskey is made, it's usually made from the barrel above 100 degrees. So even your distiller have to put some water in the whiskey to cut it. So usually the average whiskey maker or distiller would take your whiskey from 130 proof and add water to it till it comes down to 80 proof so you can drink it. So you're doing the same thing here. What's the most important is the type of water you use. I like to use, I know it's gonna sound weird, I like to use sparkling water. It gives a little different taste to my whiskey. Some people like to use mineral water because they say you keep the integrity of your whiskey. You can nose it better, you can smell it better, and it doesn't taste as strong. What does the average person does that like whiskey when they go to the bar? What do they ask for? Jack and Coke. I hear it all the time. Give me Jack and Coke. Because the fourth way of trying your whiskey is either in a cocktail or with something you mix it with. Some people will jump on your neck and go, oh, don't ever pour any pop or any soda in the whiskey. That's a no, no, no. But let me tell you, I have a rule. I like my whiskey the way I like it. And as long as you're not buying me a drink, you have nothing to say about it, right? So when I was saying do not use small ice, this is where you get to use small ice. Because when you're making a cocktail, you have the opportunity to actually take your small ice and mix it. Little tiny ice. Pour your whiskey in. And then whatever you feel like is your mixer, just mix it with it. In this case, I'm gonna use a simple mixer. I'm gonna pour it in and I'm gonna mix it. I'm gonna mix my whiskey and I'm making myself a bootleg cocktail. You don't need anything fancy. You can use Coke, you can use Sprite, you can do whatever, however you feel like. That's how you make your whiskey. So I pour my little cocktail in, and guess what? I'm still enjoying my whiskey. So don't let anybody make you feel bad when they tell you, oh my God, I don't like you. You can't be my friend because you are drinking your whiskey with some Sprite in it. So what? Maybe you don't like the burn. Maybe you don't like how whiskey is strong. You just want to mix it with something. That's why there are cocktails like Old Fashioned, Whiskey Sour, and everything else out there that is made with whiskey to make the consumer feel better. The fifth and last way to try your whiskey is the more traditional way. Let's say you're drinking whiskey, but yet you still want to feel like you can chill your whiskey and have it cold. What most people will do is that they will either buy what they call whiskey cubes that are actually ceramic. You can put in a freezer, take it out, and then there's no water. You can still be traditional in trying your whiskey. In my case, I actually chill my whiskey because I'm a professional, right? Wink, wink. I actually chill my whiskey a different way. So I have this glass chiller here that I use to chill my whiskey. And pretty much what it is that the base underneath is iced. It has been frozen for about 3 days now, and it just sit here. So what I do is I pour my whiskey into my chiller, and I let it sit for a while. I can spin it around, and I just let it sit. And what it does pretty much is that it takes your glass, it takes your whiskey, and it's chilling it right now. And all you have to do is just wait for your whiskey to get cold. And next thing you know, you get that feel of your whiskey being cold and chilled, but yet you still get the integrity of your whiskey. And sometimes you just have to let it sit as long as you want your whiskey chilled and let it do its work. Same thing for your cubes. Leave it as long as you need in the in the glass to let it do its work. And when it's ready, all you need to know is, just like promise, it's colder, but it still have the integrity of the whiskey itself. What are the ways to try your whiskey? Try your whiskey your way. No one should tell you how to try your whiskey. Try it your way. You can try it neat. You can try it with water. You can try it on ice. You can make a cocktail with it, or you can be very fancy and just chill your whiskey and still enjoy it. Either way, there is no wrong way to enjoy your whiskey. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you for stopping on the channel. Make sure to click the link below, subscribe, put on the bell so you can be notified every time I have a new video, and check out my IG for amazing content and how to make some new cocktail. And if you want to rock merchandise just like this and look as cool as I'm looking, make sure you click the link below so you can check out my website.